She's solving mysteries in the night. She's in shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When pennies crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? See, a lot of people are in here already. We've got Callie, hello. Lori, Ginger, hello. Chemistry Queen, hello. Good to see everybody, and welcome in. We're happy to have you. I'm sorry, Anna, right? Nice to see you. Before we get started tonight, guys, I did want to just ask each of you to just quickly say a prayer for Brenda Joe. She's our mod here, and as many of you know, she's my cousin. She's being taken to the emergency room right now. I'm going to go into what she's dealing with, but it's been going on for a long time. They cannot figure out what's wrong with her. And it just keeps getting worse. And today she's on her way to the emergency room. So please keep her in your thoughts and your prayers tonight, okay? I would really appreciate that. They need to figure out what's wrong. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. All right. So we'll get started with our spotlight on the missing. We have Anastasia Isabella Cancel. She's been missing since July 6th from Prince William County, Virginia. She's 17 years old. Was last seen wearing blue jeans, a black top, and black and white bands. She has a tattoo of a butterfly on her right arm. If anybody knows anything about her disappearance or where she might be, please call the Prince William County, Virginia Police Department or 911. We need to bring our kids home, guys. Don't forget, 21-year-old Jonathan Huang, highly functioning autistic, but does present himself as a 10-year-old, guys. His only social interaction has been mostly with his family. He does respond to his name, but if you see him, he's allegedly was seen in the Kirkland, Washington area. So if you do see him, please call 911 right away. Next, we have our little buddy, Sebastian Rogers, guys. I'm going to share my screen with you. Because At Night shared something today, so let me get this off of there. All right. So this was shared about 3 hours ago. Sebastian Rogers will not be forgotten or abandoned. We are determined to uncover the truth behind the events of that fateful February night. The perpetrators will face the full force of the law for their crimes. They alone bear the blame for the secrets they hide. When the time comes, the compelling eyewitness accounts and overwhelming evidence will ensure justice is served. So, At Night has not forgotten about him, in case you guys were wondering. Then we also have, let's see, Travis Decker, who is on the loose. He is facing 3 counts of first-degree red rum and first-degree kidnapping for taking the lives of his three precious babies, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, seen there with their mom. Travis is considered to be armed and dangerous. There was a recent alleged sighting, but I want to read you something that I just found today. So I'll share this tab. Authorities, but this is by Nate Eaton. Authorities in Idaho say they have ended a search for Travis Decker in the Sawtooth National Forest after determining a possible sighting of the man was actually a case of mistaken identity. Decker has been missing since June 2nd and is accused of taking the lives of his three daughters, 9-year-old Peyton Decker, 8-year-old Evelyn Decker, and 5-year-old Olivia Decker. On Saturday, a family was near a Bear Creek campsite when they saw a man who was the same height and roughly the same weight as Decker. He also had similar hair, beard, and tattoos on his arm and calf. Additional tips followed, and federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies joined the Marshal Service in the search. The man in question was found Wednesday afternoon, and it was not Decker. Investigators interviewed the cooperative man and confirmed he was hiking in the Bear Creek area this past weekend, U.S. Marshals Service Supervisory Deputy Michelle Lee said in a press conference. The Marshal Service is offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information leading to Decker's capture. And there's a better picture of his face. That's really sad that wasn't him. I was really hoping it was going to be, honestly. I really was. But evidently it was not him. All right, let's see what we got here. Everybody's talking away. Yes. No, they still haven't found him, unfortunately. I'm wondering if he isn't. This seemed like a credible tip, right? But I'm wondering, he really hasn't been seen since before he took the lives of his three little girls. So, maybe he did himself in too. But either way, he needs to be found, right? That way, that poor mother, I can't even imagine what, she's probably afraid of him at this point. It's just a sad, sad thing. No more lies. Hello, hello. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Yes. For those of you just coming in, please, Brenda Jo is on her way to the emergency room. She messaged me just before I started my live, guys. So please keep her in your prayers. Yes. When the weather changes from really hot to cooling down, never fails. I have problems with my Meniere's disease. So, all right. Just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody here. Unspoken Hearts, Wellness, Truth and Beauty, welcome. Good to see you guys. Yes, that person is still alive, and, well, we don't know if he's still alive, honestly, I guess. But, all right. So tonight I wanted to talk about Jack and Lily, right? Our two little cuties here. Every time I look into Lily's eyes, I just get lost. A poor baby. Missing since May 2nd, guys. There's so many questions in this case, isn't there? Somebody needs to be truthful, in my opinion. Someone just needs to tell what they know, because you know what? Living with guilt for the rest of your life isn't the answer. you won't ever be able to let it go, right? That person will never be able to let it go. They need to just speak up and tell the truth. At this point, better than letting this go on any further than it already has, right? So I saw that Mike DeMann, well, he's put out a few different videos, and there was one that I thought we would just kind of watch for tonight. So I'll go to that. And what he's doing is he's looking at the posts, and maybe I can just show that really quickly so that you guys can see that if I can find it. Let me. I don't know if it's this one. Yeah, this is the one. So basically what he's looking at is this between Belinda and Malehya. Oh, and speaking of Belinda, guys, Janie spoke out in a group. I want to show you that first. This is Janie. She spoke out in a group. Here's something for you guys to discuss. Tell me if Belinda hasn't seen Jack and Lily in 2 or 2.5 years, why all of a sudden she is in them. Now I haven't seen my grandbaby since this happened. There's a person called a lawyer and a place called court, and that's where I'm heading to see my grandbabies. I'll fight tooth and nail to see them, and no one's going to stop me. First of all, anybody that would attack Belinda, who's only wanting to see Jack and Lily, right? And she hasn't been able to see Jack and Lily because of Malehya and Daniel. And Malehya kind of blames that on Daniel. So do we know the truth? No, absolutely not. But her to attack Belinda in public, my answer to this is, why haven't you been able to see your grandbabies? What's the reason for that? I'm just saying, when you point a finger, one points right back at you, right? And yeah, this really irritated me, honestly, guys. Hello, Anne. Thank you so much. I'm glad. We're happy to have you here. Tosima, hello, hello. Welcome in. Mike, thank you so much. You are such a sweetheart. Well, you know what's got to happen now, right?
Granny wants to thank you all for kindness in the chat. Super stickers, bright and grand, gifts of love we understand. Memberships you gifted here, spread the joy and banish fear. Every super thanks you send warms her heart and ends the end. Granny cheers with love so true for each special thing you do. Thank you from her heart. You all play a major part.
Thank you, Mike. Always appreciate it, never expected, but I really appreciate it. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, so many questions, so many lies. RCMP drops hidden clue that could solve Jack and Lily's case. Who's presenting it? I guess is what I'm asking. They're tracking the booth print. Okay. Do psychopaths have guilt and remorse? No. Everything I've learned, they do not. Let's see here. From what I learned with a minor in psych and listening to those with lots of experience with the mentally ill, no, psychopaths have no remorse. Feelings are wired differently. Yes, they are. You know who really fits that, in my opinion, is Brian Koberger. Very much so. And I sincerely wonder about Lori Vallow as well. Only believe 100% out of that group if they go live and show faces like other families in past. I know what some tricksters have done in past, especially them being in a different country. Yeah, it's a heartless thing to say, isn't it? Hello, Walla. Good to see you. Daniel loves the camera on too. Yes, he does. Aw. Walla, thank you so much. That's so sweet. You're going to get a thank you from my baby Lacey. She says, thank you, thank you. All right. Oh, the channel is True Crime, and it's about tracking the sale of industrial boots. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. Welcome in. Okay. Well, we'll have to check it out, won't we? I think now the chance of Malehya speaking to Belinda is nil because Belinda sent her text messages onto a YouTuber. I personally think that was wrong. I agree with you, Lori. I do believe that Belinda is the only one that is sincerely fighting for Jack and Lily. However, you know, and Belinda has this mindset, and you know, it's her own, right? She has every right to believe what she wants to believe. But I'm with you, Lori. She has a mindset that she's going to share everything she knows, right? But I grew up hearing from my mom, sometimes it's better to just be quiet, right? And sharing something personal, with you and the mother of your grandbabies, I don't know. It's not something that I would do. But I don't think Malehya will talk, right? You knew Brian would take a last minute deal? Interesting. A video of her. Yeah, she doesn't sit still for the camera though. I was live one day and tried to show her she just doesn't sit still. I think we will all be in for a surprise if they even meet on the 23rd. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So let's take this off of there. And let's go ahead and listen to what Mike has to say about what Malehya is thinking. Okay. and what she means in her statements here.
And that is Belinda reaching out to Malehya, a recent one, 10 days. Was it 10 days ago? Well, the video is from 10 days ago. And so it must have happened a couple of weeks ago, I think. It wasn't the first time. It wasn't, Malehya. Belinda reached out to Malehya the day that the children were reported missing. But this was a little bit after that, quite a while, a few weeks after that, actually. But anyways, I want to talk a little bit about her responses to Belinda, because Belinda's asking some really good questions. I hope you guys are able to see it. I will read it to you. Do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? That's a very direct question from Belinda. And that was after Belinda gave her longer interview with mainstream media. And in that interview, she talked about a lot of things, right? She said, among them, I think somebody hurt them. And she hasn't backtracked from that. That whole Darren, whatever, I haven't listened to him. I'm not going to listen to him. I'm not going to waste my time or my energy on something that I already know is bogus. Just an FYI. And I encourage and by the way, if somebody listens to that interview and then says, because of you, I listened to that interview with Darren because you're using criming shame as your go-to. Well, of course I'm using this as a go-to because they are the ones who get the messages. I give credit when due. I'm not a side taker. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a statement analyst. Forensic linguistics is key to discovering what happened. And I don't care where the truth comes from. It doesn't mean I encourage you to listen to the entire life and whoever they decide to bring on. And I thought I made it clear because I'm not a babysitter. I thought I made it very, very clear. So
I do like what Mike is saying here. He's not endorsing anybody. He is just going where the information is coming from. We have taken screenshots as well and given credit to It's a Criming Shame as well for that. Doesn't mean that because we're showing information that they gave that we agree with their viewpoints on anything. Okay. I want to make that clear here. Okay. I still think Malehya is innocent of foul play with kids. I'm always a bad guy till there. Yes. And I have the same opinion, Mike. I feel that Malehya is innocent of foul play with the kids. I I don't believe either one of them are red rummers, in my opinion. However, you know, guilty knowledge for sure, cover up more than likely, at least from Daniel's side of things. I see a lot of you are talking about the moon and Mercury, and I just don't get into any of that. You're you're welcome to, believe what you want to believe. I'm just not a person that gets into that kind of stuff. I thought I made it clear I'm not a babysitter. The mother needs to develop courage, come forward. Yeah, I think Janie is a big question mark for me. Yes. I, you know, in the beginning, we wondered why she wasn't speaking out. Now she's speaking out. And I think we all had our thoughts and our opinions about her in the beginning. She didn't change my opinion of her at all. Now that she's come out with stuff. Who's meeting on the 23rd? There is a hearing on the 23rd, sentencing hearing, I believe, for Brian Koberger. And the victims have the ability to come to that hearing and say whatever they want to Brian. Nope, he sure doesn't. But most statement analysis, are that way. They say exactly what they think. Nothing wrong with that. And yes, we appreciate that. He catches me off guard in a very good way. All right, let's continue on. Oh,
I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious. If she said, I don't know, that would be reliable, short and sweet. I don't know. Well, how wouldn't you know? You were there, first of all. So it wouldn't make sense. So this is already a straight up lie, and it's not reliable because it's not a short and sweet answer saying, I don't know. And that is because of the but. Whenever somebody says but, forget everything they had already told us. So when somebody says to you, you're one of my best friends, but sorry to say it, but you're not one of that person's best friends. Disregard everything. It's sort of wiping their conscience clean with this qualifier. But he's been acting suspicious. What is she saying here? Mind you, she doesn't want to tell us what happened, and neither does Daniel. And the reason is because she, as she calls it, is protecting Meadow from CPS. Because if they find out what really happened in that house that night or the evening before, I believe they would not be, neither of them, the CPS would take Meadow away from both of them. Your lawyers can speak on, okay, well, that part comes later. Okay, so again, if you have been overloaded and exposed yourself to a bunch of garbage, useless garbage that you're listening to, with rumors, with all the, sorry, but you need to first clear your mind before you watch my videos, because otherwise it's not going to sink in. Because your mind needs to first get rid of whatever assumptions you may have, because you cannot have confirmation bias. We need to listen only to what they're telling us. I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious.
I kind of like what he said there. We can't be listening to all the gossip, the rumors. We have to listen to what they're saying. We can only listen to what they're telling us, right? Because that's what the truth is. Hello, Tammy. Good to see you. I thought maybe Janie was just a crazy cat lady with an attitude, but now I'm not so sure. I know. I think whatever happened, Daniel and possibly his brother disposed of the kids, but she's in the middle of it, and that's what stopped her telling. Yes. I think she knows what happened to the kids. I just don't think she knows where they disposed of them. Right? Yeah. I agree, Anna. I agree 100%. Let's see if I missed anything up here. Okay. All right. So let's continue on.
Yep. She cannot deny that Daniel hurt them, or at least one of them. She cannot say, no, I was there. He couldn't have. I wouldn't have allowed it. I would have woken up. I would have been. It's impossible, people. So what she is giving us is a form of communication with Daniel right now, an attempt to reach him. What she's doing is telling Daniel, you are acting suspicious and you are too worried about what people think. It's almost like she is guiding him, telling him, you're going to mess it up for all of us. Because, again, who are you protecting Meadow from? CPS. She is quiet because she knows whatever role she played, be it active or be it having witnessed and not having stepped in to protect her children, whatever it may be, would be enough for her not to have custody of her daughter. They would take her daughter away from her. That is her only priority. And remember, Logan said, Meadow, Meadow, Meadow. That's why Logan wanted Meadow to have some sort of control over Malehya. That's even why he still talks about he has all her belongings. How dare she get her car towed without coming back? He wants a chance to talk to her. He wants the relationship to continue, unless he will find somebody else, right? Then he's probably going to move on real quickly. But right now, yet again, he's going to be worried that eventually there will be some sort of leakage. Maybe one day she will have a new boyfriend, and maybe she will have a drink or two or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows what people do, right? And then say the wrong thing.
Okay, I think we are hoping that somebody says the wrong thing, right? But I think he's getting a little bit too far into suspicion and skepticism, in my opinion. Let's see here. You were on Earl Martell's Facebook today. He has a good sized dog. Oh. And he was there, was he not? I believe he was there. And hello, Bonnie, by the way, welcome in. Earl is Daniel's father, for those of you who might not know. The fact that Malehya did say, no, Daniel could never hurt my children says a lot to me. Yes. Yes. I think Mike is right here. As far as she's covering, right? You wouldn't say, I don't know, because she was there. She was there whatever happened. So she does know. see here. All right. And I think she got away and she's grieving and riddled with guilt. Yes. And that guilt is going to destroy her eventually, unless she tells the truth. We knew what you meant. Why would all of them be in the house that morning together with cops? Daniel doing drugs in the bathroom when the kid's missing. Last place he'd do them when could do them in the woods. Yeah. But let's be fair, right? Was he doing them in the bathroom? Did he take them from somewhere else and try to hide them in the bathroom, and then they kind of interrupted him, so he quickly shoved them under something, hoping that they weren't going to find them? I mean, I don't know, guys, right? Were there drugs involved at all? We do not know these answers. You know, Haley has already kind of backtracked on what she said, so I don't know. Can we trust her? I don't know. There was a cop in that trailer the entire time that morning. Well, he's not going to go in the bathroom with him, though. But, I mean, very strange. I would like to know what happened. Yeah, how could he have done that with a cop in the trailer? I just don't. You heard that dog on Earl's is actually Justin's dog. It's huge. Weird. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. CPS isn't going to give info about kids, if not theirs either. Well, and they're not going to give it to Daniel. He's not the father. Someone said Jack had bruises and scratch marks. Who did it? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. She was there, but could have been passed out. Could it be possible Malehya phoned the school? The kids were already passed away, and that would give them plenty of time for Daniel to dispose of them. Anything's possible, right, guys? I mean, seriously. Yes, dogs can smell through concrete. No, he was in the bathroom. Also, them with missing kids. I'm a recovering drug addict, drunk. Nobody is that stupid. I have to take your word for it, Callie. I don't know. Never have smelt meth at all. Never been around it. Yeah. What if it happened the night before? Could have. They both were not sleeping, waking up, telling each other, do you hear the cribs? Yeah. Yeah. So one of them's lying because they both couldn't have done the same thing, right? Let's continue on.
These things can happen. It's better for Logan, Daniel and Logan. Oh my God, I'm not even getting into this, but Daniel is just a doofus. But Logan is a little bit smarter, and she feels very confident because she grew up with people that are dumber than her, maybe. Right? You know people like that who think they're very bright because the people that they grew up with were even lower on the food chain. And so is too worried about what people think about him. Now she is being very careful here. And she had a lot of time to think. So she is telling us, yes, do you believe in your heart that Daniel could have hurt them? And she doesn't ask, do you know? She's being also very careful not to say, did Daniel hurt them? Which I would have been a little more direct. I mean, but that's a personality thing where she may be worried that she's gonna turn her off, because it looks like she initiated the conversation with that. And probably very quickly after she, remember, right after the kids were reported missing, like the day or the second day after, that's when Malehya stopped responding to her. So I'm assuming that there was a communication pause, a long pause. And after Belinda went on TV to give her interview, I think that's when she figured, now may be a really, really good time for me to ask Malehya something, not too directly, but more directly than I wanted to before, than I did before. So I don't know if I need to make it clearer or not, but this is a really big one, people. And just take your time to look at it. Well, I don't know if you can see it, or if you see it well. Let me see what I can do. So not only is she not denying that he could have hurt them, he is too worried about what people think about him. He is acting suspicious. This is her message. Daniel, you're going to remember our pact. Remember what we talked about. You're going to screw it up for all of us. So maybe at times she was.
So do you guys think that? Do you think that she's trying to warn him that you're going to screw it up for all of us? I agree. Negligent for sure. The morning story BS, then that coded message, she will know what that means. Yeah. Hello, Angry Rabbit. Good to see you. It's disturbing how he is using a missing kid's case to launch his family access issues with the kids. I know. He's only worried about Meadow. He's not worried about, although remember he said, I will never stop searching for them. No, they are not fit to be parents. Aw. Awesome, Callie. Congratulations. I think Malehya was showing disgust when she said him. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else. Exactly, Callie. Innocent people don't worry about public opinion. That's true. This case is baffling. I'm not 100% sure what happened. There's so many unknowns. It's hard to know really what happened, right? I mean, seriously. all we really know is the kids are missing and what they are saying and have said, right? Yeah, you've heard of a flying carpet, but not a flying blanket. Yeah. Anne Elizabeth, hello, hello. Yeah, I agree. And by the children's paternal grandmother, right? Who is the only one actually speaking out for the kids. So it surprises me that she did that. But there was a lot of strange activities the night before in the dark. Fence work, pothole filling. Yes, very odd. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I've been wondering because to me, if rugs were left laying around, which I could see happening, right? They get high. Finally, they crash. They want to go to bed, right? Um, don't bother picking anything up. The kids get up the next morning. They're kind of dozing. They hear them on and off, and then they don't hear them. That part maybe could be true, right? I could see that happening. And not only that, and this is all skepticism, guys. We don't know if this is true or not. We're just trying to look for scenarios on what could have happened to those babies, right? So the panic and the cover up would make sense if rugs were left laying around and the kids got into it, right? You want to protect your baby because you don't want them to take her away. I mean, I can see all of that. Mike, Belinda said that Cody has been cleared. You know, I don't think she would lie because she hasn't lied about anything with him as far as I know. So I don't think she would lie. Yeah, Anna, there are almost no facts. You're right. You're right. Well, we are talking about the stepdad. We're talking about Daniel Tosima. Right now, there is a conspiracy of silence. Exactly, Phoenix. Exactly. It's probably true that the children were taken from that property in the early hours of the morning, but in what condition were they taken? Yeah. I don't think they were with us anymore, much as I don't want to believe that. If the children were 100,000% okay, like Durwood said, there would not be any of this happening right now. Exactly. And you heard what Mike thinks of Darren. Yeah. Um I think many of us wanted to believe Darren's story, but as time went on, and then seeing how he talks to people in live chats, um, And, listening to Deception Detective talk about him, I and Mike, I do not believe a word that came out of Darren's mouth at all. Because that morning is scripted, nothing that they said can be held as true other than the fact that they're both telling the same story to back each other, and the fact that they had to write a story. Yeah, I mean, yep, the scent dogs didn't get any real hits to follow anything. Covering a pothole in the middle of the night. What were they covering? I know. Were those potholes checked, Mike? All we can really do is watch how it all plays out. I don't know about that. They foiled that morning script by trying to play the same character. Yes, you're right. Yeah, fentanyl's a real problem. Exposure to that, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I agree, Lori. Nobody is going to risk keeping the children alive all this time. No way. Yeah, it would really be nice if we saw some charges in this case, right? But I think they're waiting for the bodies. But if the bodies are where I think they might be, they'll be waiting an awfully long time. Yes, I agree with you, Ginger. If Durwood truly cared about Lily and Jack, he would have stayed off YouTube and out of chats and just took what he knew to the RCMP. If he really thought that it was true, he would have just done that. Yeah. And I wonder why. She need their birth certificates to get death certificates? I don't know. Yeah. Guys that think about it, the tribe is not going to do that and you know, have their reputation ruined. They're not going to do that. I agree with you, Kelly. Darren has a motive for being all over social media. It's covering for Daniel and pushing his narrative, blaming Malehya. Yes. The only mention of it was that could be their next step. But if they did it, they have not said anything to us. Well, I think there's a lot of people in that area out of work right now from what I'm hearing. My brother took a bad substance a couple years ago, and it was spiked with fentanyl. He was revived, thankfully. He hasn't touched anything since. So when I hear rugs, yeah, yeah. And you imagine what it takes for little children. I can't even. Lori, I believe he gave up all rights. But I think that Ginger said they still have to pay child support. Here in America, if they give up their rights and allow somebody else to adopt them, they don't have to pay child support. Oh, you need the birth certificate. Oh, okay. It's so weird that birth certificates were the thing on our mind the second day. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. If it was spiked with fentanyl, wouldn't the whole family be dead? I don't know. Do we know 100% that the mother doesn't have the baby? Thanks. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you so much. As far as I know, we do not know 100% if CPS took the baby away from mother. All we've heard is a lot of gossip. And Daniel and Darren saying that she doesn't have the baby anymore. And I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that, you know, we can't go by what they said. You know, CPS isn't going to tell us, or even tell Daniel. Oh, well, yeah, CPS would tell Daniel because he's the father of Meadow. But yeah, I don't know. It's only if they're legally adopted. Gotcha. Okay. Even if you give up all rights, you still have to pay child support. If someone adopts your child, then you are relieved of that financial responsibility. Gotcha. Could have been a request from the CPS and the RCMP to have their birth certificates. Yeah, could have. Trying to protect her deadbeat son. Um, I don't know. It's hard to know what's true in this case, isn't it, guys? Ginger, the CPS court hearings are sealed, so we are not privy to that information. Fact is that HEB was spot clean like BK's car. Yeah, I know that people are placing a lot of emphasis on the clean HEB. Could it be an issue? Yes, given the way that everything is around the trailer. But here's what I'm going to say. I went mudding and HEBing, and the first thing I did when I got home was clean my HEB completely. I mean, completely. Because you don't want mud to get caught up in all that stuff, all the electronics and everything else. So I don't take that as seriously as maybe many of you would. For that reason that I had one and I never let it get. And neither did all the rest. We had a big group of us that went HEBing almost every weekend. And especially on holidays, we would, go for 4 days and we'd be out HEBing every day of those 4 days. When we all got back to our campsite or our cabin, wherever we were, our HEBs were all cleaned. Everybody's. So I'm just saying that to say that if you want them to last, you clean them right away. In my opinion, she'd also be under 24/7 supervision with Meadow, just based on my experience working alongside CPS. CPS' main concern is always safety of the child, 2 missing kids under both adults' care. I agree. And I think that she may have been under supervision with Meadow. We don't know that for sure, but I would agree that she probably was. Hello, Sandra. How are you doing? TJ, hello. Who is TJ? Who are dirtbags? Oh, you're talking about. I see what you're saying. So when I'm talking about cleaning the HEB, you're saying no, they're dirtbags and they wouldn't do it. Possibly, right? I mean, it could be that way. That's right. A clean HEB is more common than a dirty one. In my experience, it is. Aw, Walla, thank you so much. That's awesome.
Granny wants to thank you all for kindness in the chat. Super stickers, bright and grand, gifts of love we understand.
Memberships you gifted here, spread the joy and banish fear. Every super thanks you send warms her heart and ends the end.
Granny cheers with love so true for each special thing you do. Thank you from her heart. You all play a major part.
Thank you. And if you received a membership from Walla, please thank them. All right. I meant grandmother to keep the heat off him is all, not accusing him of anything, my bad. I don't think we'll hear much from any of them after a week or next update. Gotcha. Right, Tosima? Imagine if the HEB had been mud-filled. We would all be pointing a finger. I know I would be, because I'd be like, you're wrecking that HEB. I mean, that would be That would be me. I'd be pointing them out and saying, look, you're going to wreck that thing. Right. CPS never said that they were taking the child. Logan just said the child could not stay at the home. Gotcha. I hear what you're saying, and it could be true, and it might not be true. We don't know. Let's hope the rumor is true about, yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I want to see it for sure. For sure. Oh, thank you, Anne. I appreciate that. I try to be. Our CMP is watching them duke it out for sure. They're sitting back listening to it all, I think they can't tell on each other, but Daniel knows the police are looking at him and he's getting in there first to make himself look good. I agree with you, Lori. He's really worried about how he looks, and that reminds me so much of Chris Proudfoot. More worried about how they look in the public eye than about Jack and Lily being missing or Sebastian being missing, right? Just, oh, that's so irritating. It takes from all subscribers. So, yeah. I wish I could tell it to take from chat, but yeah. It's YouTube's deal, so yep. Absolutely. I don't believe anything. We won't see much of Seth or see him doing lives or in other chats either from here out. You know something we don't know, Mike? He's already really kind of fallen off the radar, pretty much. You don't see him too much. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Because the more that he's out there, the more that we call them the obstacle channels, the obstacles, go after him. So yeah. It's better for him to just stay off and just do mainstream media. Guys, I get it. I'm a creator, right? But I really don't think that it's a good idea for the parents of any missing children or even the family members to come on to YouTube and talk. All it does is cause drama and chaos. That's exactly what happened in Sebastian's case. In fact, it escalated to more. It escalated to cease and desist letters and lawsuits and garbage, right? Sides being picked and hate being thrown everywhere. It doesn't do anybody any good. Not at all. Don't forget, Bewitched recommended that Logan should have custody of the baby. Yeah. The one that calls children animals? No. Sorry. No. I mean, I don't know. He did say he has family counsel, but I don't think that he's really lawyered up as far as not talking with the RCMP or anything. Um, I don't think so. Birth certificates for travel and enrollment in schools. Yes. Except that I, you know, I don't know. Or birth certificates to remember the babies you once had. There you go. I mean, think about it. She left him. If she really didn't care about clothing, all she would really want would be important personal documents, right? I'm just saying. These dads in all these cases lately, these gals can pick them. Yes, I agree. Um, and I'm not one to talk because I never could pick them either. So I'm not going to judge that. In my opinion, honest opinion, they are both suspects, so they won't talk to anyone but the news because they may be incriminating themselves if future charges arise. Yeah, I agree. But yet Daniel can't seem to stay off of chat, just like somebody else we know, CP, right? He can't help himself, guys. He really can't. I agree. Let the case be handled by the appropriate channels. There's a lot of goading someone to come on and talk. I agree with you, Tosima. I agree with you 100%. You could go back and look. I've never had anyone on here to talk. Now, I did reach out to sister of a missing person to find out if there was anything going on with the case, to kind of get the details from it. And that's about it, just to get some information on the case. But yeah, other than that, no. Do you guys think Janie's messages are legitimate and unprovoked? Is she trying to strike back because people are turning her into this arithmetic chef posted all over YouTube? I don't know. Here's my opinion. If the family is listening, I would say to them, don't take the bait. Stay off of YouTube. Don't post anything. Don't get on any shows. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it's not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything. I'm just worried he's going to do something stupid after everyone is gone. Wait a minute. You think Seth will do something to himself? I don't know. I hope not. I hope not, Mike. People who try to separate a young child from the mother during the bonding period doesn't truly care about the child. Good point, Walla. Is it really her? Good point. Me too. And that's why I really try when somebody brings up something that was a rumor or gossip, I try to nip it in the bud. Not to say that anybody's wrong, but just to let you know that gossip and rumor is not fact, you know. No, I get it, Tosima. I get it. Hi, Nikki. Welcome in. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's hard. It's really hard. And we're about getting to the point where something's got to happen here, right? Because just like in Sebastian's case, there's no more news coming out, right? Creators had to invent something to talk about. And honestly, people wanted to hear it, right? People wanted, the minute I tried to talk about anything else, boy, I tell you, I didn't get hardly any views. It's weird. They wanted to talk about Sebastian. But I'm not going to go on and talk about, and just like in this case, I'm not going to go on and talk about the drama, you know, because, and you can only go over the facts that we know so many times until you all know them, you're blue in the face, right? So yeah, it is hard. It does get hard. It gets very dark after a while, especially when you're kind of losing hope that in this case, the kids may not be with us anymore. And that's hard. That's very hard to think of a little 6-year-old and 4-year-old not being with us anymore. Oh, and still thinking and praying for Brenda Joe for strength. Yes, please, please. She really does. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's been quite a while since I have stated that Brenda Joe wasn't feeling good. It's been going on for quite a while. And they just haven't been able to figure it out. So it's just getting worse. And they need to figure out what's wrong, and she needs to be healed. I personally don't believe Logan, Durwood, Daniel, Janie, nor a word any of them say. I'm right there with you. I would even add Haley to the list. And because they're biased, guys. Janie's going to be biased toward Daniel. Durwood, if he is related to Malehya, you would think he'd be biased toward Malehya, but instead he's biased toward Daniel. Logan is biased toward Daniel. The whole thing is a mess. I see in another site, new details conversation with RCMP. Not sure what this is about, though. Yeah, I don't, Tammy. I'm not a person that runs with anything on every channel. It's kind of like what I said here. Just because, I don't always agree with Mike, right? I don't always agree with Deception Detective. And if I'm using a channel's information, it doesn't mean that I agree with any of their viewpoints, right? So I'm not one that just runs to things, but thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. They're they're all looking for parts in the Netflix movie. Yeah, that's irritating. Guys, it's way too soon for Netflix. Oh, yeah, I do worry about Seth. He has his parents though. He does have his parents. Um, and he does have Tony. I think the relationship that he has built with Tony is lifelong. I don't think that that's going to stop no matter what happens with Sebastian, honestly. So I think the biggest thing that we can do for Seth is keep him in our prayers for strength, right? Yeah. But I'm sure, Callie, that he has his moments, right? He does believe Sebastian's out there. I believe Sebastian's out there. You know, I really honestly do. I know that some people think that he's not, and they have a right to their own opinion, but I really believe Sebastian is out there. I believe he was being hid, and I believe he's out there. I believe he, at first was being hid, maybe trafficked. I don't know, but I believe he's out there somewhere. So honestly, every case is different. I know there are people that believe Jack and Lily have been trafficked. I personally don't believe that. I believe something happened with them. The ATV was used to lug cement. I don't know. I won't believe anything until any of them show up on camera instead of chats and panels. They could be anyone at this point. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even if they show up on camera, so you're telling me that even if they show up on camera, you'd believe them? Because Daniel shows up on camera. I don't believe Daniel. It's not just the camera, in my opinion. It's not just the fact it's just not that. Yeah, I believe that both cases will be solved. I wish that Sebastian's was solved before now, honestly. But I believe it will be solved. Oh, thank you, Unspoken Hearts. That's what I want, is for this channel to be a place where you can feel safe sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions. I may not always agree with you, but that's okay because we're different people. We have our own thoughts, we have our own ideals. We can agree to disagree, and we can all be respectful. That's the type of channel that I'm striving to put out there. Something different than most of them, right? Something that you feel safe, you feel comfortable coming in, sharing your thoughts and your opinions, and that you can really feel the compassion here from me and from people in chat about others, like we were talking about Seth and how worried we are about him, and about, Jack and Lily, how we want them home, so that's what I strive for. So Thank you for saying that, because it makes me feel like I'm on the right track. I grew up in the woods like Daniel. If someone is lost in the woods, you don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You call out, listen, and then move quietly, listening for movement. I agree. So, was there something to what Haley said about him running around like a chicken with his head cut off because he was on drugs? I'm just saying. Because she up and left her mom's care with Meadow under an order allegedly. So why risk losing Meadow by leaving mom's? She had to go to the reservation, from my understanding, Tammy. See, you're listening, I think, to Darren and Daniel. Those are the ones that said that she left, that she took off. Her lawyer, if you recall, and this is truth, is the chief's brother. So she had to go to the reservation to talk to him. Okay. So that's, that's what I'm saying about that. I honestly don't believe that she took off purposely. She has relatives on the reservation, and her lawyer is on the reservation. And she went back home by her mother's. So that whole scenario of she took off doesn't play out in my book. Just my opinion. Thank you, No More Lies. Yes, please hit like. Hello, Osprey. Good to see you. Yes, and we don't know if there was an order. We don't know that. That's just an assumption. Maybe they are biased for Daniel and the public to gain sympathy because they know it's Daniel. Could be. I don't know. I don't think so. Actually, no. I know I haven't seen that. Voila. You're entitled, Tammy, to your opinion, but what is it that you think Malehya did? I mean, is she neglectful? Yeah. Was she? Yeah. I think that they have both shown that in this case. Other than that, we don't know anything that she did or didn't do. Exactly, Lori. We see the chaos it causes when YouTubers are getting angry because they can't beg a family member. That's how bad this is getting. The kids are forgotten. I agree with you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hello, Bobby. Would you think there might be a little inbreeding? I'm not going to answer that one. Oh my goodness, I don't know. So Tosima, the link for the video that I'm playing today is Mike's channel, and you can find his other videos there. I agree. They've become very, very close. I don't think that relationship will go away no matter what happens. Yeah, Tammy, wouldn't that be nice if that happened? But one of the things that I found out this last year with Sebastian's case is that people really don't lose their channels, no matter how bad and nasty they are. It's sad. So let me see. There's 4 of them. Interesting. Okay. Seems that is a start to giving any credibility to speaking on camera. Yeah. I get what you're saying, Nat. I don't know. You know, whether on camera or off, they can still lie, right? It's just easier to see them lying when they're on camera. I'm stunned, Tammy. um, I don't know why. Tell me what you think Malaya has done that would um makes Child Protective Services take Meadow away. Well, I don't get if Katie didn't want Sebastian, why not let Sebastian stay with Seth? She didn't want Seth to have Sebastian, in my opinion. It's the old saying, if I can't have him, nobody will. And I don't think Chris wanted him. Or, well, let's put it this way. I don't think Chris was able to be around Sebastian anymore. So if she wanted Chris, she had to find a way. No, I disagree about Seth. I feel that Seth still has hope. Although I believe it's waned a little bit, but I think Seth always has had hope. I think the first Easter was just really hard on him because it was his first holiday without his son, right? Yes, Chris and Katie knew because they know what happened to him. Yes, they would offer training and support before removing a child from their mother. Exactly. Exactly. I hope they're alive and well. It's been 70 days. Nothing. Yeah. Well, yeah. Here's my thoughts on that. I wish and I would love to hear nothing but the fact that they are alive and well, that somebody had them. But I honestly believe that those babies by the time we heard of them being missing, were already gone. Malehya would have been assessed as soon as they got involved, and she did have custody of, and we don't know if she still does, but she did have custody of Meadow, but Daniel was not allowed to see her. So what does that say? All right, so let's finish up here really quickly.
Taking on that role of being Daniel's advisor in the past, and she knows him. So she feels a need to put a stop to it from the distance and not focus on my kids at all. What she is telling him is, you know what? People are going to know because of you. And absolutely, the reason I became interested in the case to begin with was because I saw his fake crying. And then I listened to him a little bit, then I listened to Malehya, and then I went right back to Daniel. And oh my gosh, it did not disappoint. All right, let's take a break. This is the sunset, baby. Anyhow, anywho. That's the message.
Anyhow, anywho.
You need to talk about my kids once in a while. You can't just talk about yourself. And according to Cheryl, now things come a little bit clearer. She is reading what's going on online. She's not searching for the kids. She never had searched for the children. She knows exactly what happened to them. But she is worried about damage control, and she's worried about her daughter, Meadow. That's why Logan said, Meadow, Meadow, Meadow. Everything is Meadow, Meadow. So everything he's doing is art, and the police advised him to stay away from the media, to stop contacting me, and he has tried to steal money from my account, though, through Timu, because my card was attached to his account. So everything is not right. Right? So she's doing two things here. Remember, Daniel, police told you, keep your mouth shut. But he can't. She is telling him it would be very smart on your part to do that. Why? My main focus right now is to protect Meadow and find my kids. The first priority is protect Meadow. And as she has told us, don't forget to mention the kids here. So she mentions them, but at the very end. This is some serious distancing between main focus and find my kids. That is not a priority at all. And her only focus should be to search for to find the children, because Meadow is safe with you, right? And there shouldn't be anything to worry about. If you're a good mother and you didn't witness anything and you have no knowledge and there's nothing that they can put on you, so we don't know what the CPS reports were about a few months ago. But it seems to me Daniel is the focus, because Logan told us very clearly he has proven himself again and again. Daniel had to prove himself, not Malehya. There's something that Daniel did to the children, or somehow, some way that he acted, something that Daniel has done or been doing in terms of how he treated the children was worth noting. He couldn't see Meadow without supervision, but Malehya can have her. So whatever is in the report points back to Daniel and only Daniel. Even though, they may say, hey, she doesn't even try to protect her children. So she's negligent, but she's not, they found no fault, no violence, no anger, no, and I believe Belinda when she said she used to be a great mother, but something changed. What changed? Daniel. And we have learned that Cheryl said, for 2 years, she had no contact with Malehya. Nobody had. Daniel was very controlling. So this is was a very unhealthy relationship, people. The moment that you are, okay, so when you get in a relationship, I have learned about myself that there are times when you're happy and then you realize, what, some of these people I've been hanging out with, they're so negative. And they always, they always have relationship issues and then want to generalize how women are and give you, they want to pass on their negative energy to somebody. Where I realize, what, things are going really well right now. I don't need any of this by choice. But I looked at the picture of Cheryl and Malehya at the beach, and they seem very close. And I think that she had some really close friends before Daniel and still now. And she's better one-on-one with people. Some people are better in front of an audience. Like, I feel like I am one of those people, which can be good, which can be not so good. And I know that Daniel is one of those people. If he's in front, if you ask him questions one-on-one, he probably will run away. But when he has an audience, that's when he probably feels like, okay, now I got the power to tell people what to believe. Daniel has been saying to YouTubers that he believes you had the kids taken that morning, and he woke up when you came back to bed. You see, I didn't pay too much attention to this before, but now I am. Let him soar. Of course, she means let him say whatever he wants. I can't say anything to anyone anymore. Now, this is not a reliable denial, but in the context, it has the power to elevate itself above Daniel in general, because she has been worn out by him doing media after media after media. She doesn't feel a need to reply to this. There is no pressure or stress indicated here. She keeps it short and doesn't continue. She doesn't feel a need to explain anything else. If there was wrongdoing on your part, it would be expected to say, how could this have been? Because he would have woken up and I would earlier, and their dogs. No, she doesn't do any of that. She could be talking about the dogs. She could be talking about a lot of different things, but she doesn't. It's complete. It's sort of like my reaction to the Darren character, right? What do you think? Do you think he's telling you the truth? Us the truth. That's what the messages that I'm getting. I don't reply to these messages because it's like, I'm sorry, dude, but I am, going to take the high road on this one. I'm not going to reply to anything that's thoughtless, where people pass on to me whatever garbage they get somewhere else. Before you come to my house, wipe your shoes. It's not my fault if you pay attention to a bunch of nonsense, and I'm not going to be bothered by it, but I will note it. And I've noted that the people who've been the greatest contributors in every single way, be it messages, be it comments, be it live chat comments, they haven't paid any attention to, maybe minimal, maybe a little bit. They have asked the others, what do you think? And then they say, yep, me, same thing. I ignore it. There is nothing. There's no smoking gun here. There's absolutely nothing worth replying. And I think also Daniel may have done a little bit of research Daniel's style. And he may have, who knows, through my videos, come across the case of Sebastian and sort of felt like, Chris Proudfoot, damn, a year later, no arrests, no anything. Wow, he must be doing something. Oh, yeah, they came up with a bunch of bullshit stories. And, well, I don't have the money for Stephen Fisher, but I can get some dude from that family who's not happy with that family. Okay, good. So, hey, it would be wonderful to have his phone records right now, man, to have his phone and see all the nonsense.
That is a really good point, guys. Because we know that they've been watching, right? They've been watching to see how others have caused distractions and got away with things. And so the Proud Feet hired Stephen Fisher, and we know, all of us know, that he was hired to bring distractions and to defend the Proud Feet. Do you think that's what Darren is? You could kind of correlate him to Steve Fisher in the Sebastian Rogers case. I can. So let's see. Poor Meadow is in the middle of a terrible custody battle at the moment. Yeah. She's the one that's going to suffer, guys. I've come to the conclusion that it was an accident and they panicked because they were known by CPS and Meadows would be taken, and both, if it was Ruggs, would be imprisoned. Yeah, that's what I think. That's the panicking, the cover up, to me, makes the most sense if Ruggs were involved. Yep. CPS was breathing down Chris's neck. In fact, I believe that last open order was that Sebastian could not be around, or that Chris could not be around Sebastian. Not that Chris couldn't be at his home. He could not be around Sebastian. So that if Sebastian was at his home, he couldn't be there. See what I'm saying? The RCMP said low possibility that they are alive and there have been no sightings of them. Yes. Mike, we're going to have to disagree. To agree to disagree. Sebastian was carried out of the home that night, in my opinion. 3 a.m. Flashlights and car. Hello, Fran. Good to see you. Welcome in. Yes, I agree. RCMP have eyes and ears on both of them. And the thing is that Daniel's the one doing all the talking and all the chatting, you know, and having others talk and chat for him, right? Malehya isn't doing that, and in fact, um, you know, Haley tried to speak out, and I think that, you know, I think that Malehya didn't like that, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Yeah, I agree, Fran. So many questions. Okay. So I'm just trying to get caught up here. I didn't even fully trust Belinda. I don't think she's being completely honest either. I think she got roped into some things and there's some other intentions and possibly guilty knowledge. Well, she was analyzed and nothing, her statements didn't come across as untrustworthy. Um, I don't know. I don't know. We don't know if Daniel has had friends over on occasions doing rugs, and God knows what could have been going on, right? And Callie believes that Malehya is trying to protect Meadow from Daniel and his family. You know, looks like a family fight over the narrative. Good point, Angry Rabbit. I agree with you. Nova Scotia's Child Protection Agency investigated the living conditions of Jack and Lily Sullivan months before their mysterious disappearance from a rural part of the province in early May. Yep, I remember reading that. Um, Daniel has denied the party. So who knows? Because I don't believe Daniel. He's lied so much. I just don't believe him, Fran. So, I mean, I'm sure RCMP knows if it's true or not. And it's funny because none of their so-called friends have come out and said anything about a party. I suppose, though, if they were doing rugs at the party, they're not going to come out and say that they did them. So, Well, I don't think guilty knowledge, but I don't agree with her on YouTube. More so, she didn't try to see the kids. Regardless, Daniel didn't allow it. That should have been a red flag for her. I agree. I agree. Um, should she have pushed a little harder, done something? I mean, grandparents have rights nowadays, right? I think custody of Meadow is what scares Malaya. He has the same rights as a bio father, maybe not as he cannot see his other bio children. Yeah. And he wasn't allowed to see Meadow in the beginning either. Yes, they've all been watching. Stephen Fisher is Darren Geddes' role. I agree. 100%. 100%. The CPS minister said, "We have no idea where those kids are, and we should be focused on helping them and finding them and supporting this family." Well, she said she didn't know where they were living, but she could have tried to trace them. Yeah, she didn't know where they were living. Um, but I mean, she could have gone to a court to get visitation rights. Yes, Chris wanted to move back in his home and get custody of his daughter. Sebastian had to go. I agree, 100%. Twists and turns. Mike, Sebastian didn't meet up with anyone except the perpetrators involved in close distant relations, in my opinion. I agree with you, twists and turns. He didn't meet up with anybody. He was taken. He didn't walk from that home because there's no scent trail leading out of the home. He was carried out. Yeah, I agree with you in my opinion as well, Callie. Hello, Bonnie. I can't watch Belinda's interview without crying. I do believe her. Just my opinion. Yeah. And um I believed her as well. So did Deception Detective. That's for me, that's good enough in my opinion. Oh my God. Thank God my parents only smoked weed growing up. This would be terrible for kids to grow up with, dealing with this crap all the time. Hopefully Meadow will grow up stronger from all this. Yeah, I can my parents, the only thing they did was drink. They never, ever, ever did drugs. I believe Malehya telling Belinda Daniel is the reason Belinda couldn't see Jack and Lily. Yes, I agree. I think Daniel was the reason. I think he was very controlling. I think there was some sort of DV going on in that household. My opinion, that's what I think. He exhibits those traits. And yeah, I agree, Callie, 100%. Um, but I will say that I think that Belinda could have pushed harder, you know, but hindsight's 2020, right? Belinda said she had a good relationship with Malehya, so Belinda should have known something wasn't right when Daniel wouldn't let Malehya meet up with Belinda. That would be a warning. Control. Yeah, but think about it from this perspective. She is the mother, Belinda is the mother of those kids' father, right? And a person could think maybe he's just jealous. Maybe she just has to give him a little bit of time, help him, realize that there's nothing between her and Cody anymore. And, maybe that's what she was thinking. I don't know. I'm just trying to give her a little bit of, I don't know, leeway, I guess. Benefit of the doubt. Hello, BBB. Daniel was definitely controlling, and the reason Belinda couldn't see Jack and Lily. Yeah. I'm not saying I don't trust her, but she could have tried to see the kids. Yeah. Um, I guess in in her position, I would have pushed harder with Malehya. And if that didn't work, then I probably would have said to Malehya, I'm going to get the courts involved because I have rights to see my grandkids. So, you know, the ball's in your court. You decide. And if I don't hear from you by such and such a day, I'm going to be going to see a lawyer. That'd be what I would do, right? Are you talking about Stephen Stearns? That is kind of weird. Oh, Lord. And twists and turns, I'm sorry you're going through all that. That's awful. Yeah, well, she could have even called Belinda, right? And Belinda would have gotten her out of there as well, in my opinion. I also don't agree with the Solana selling bracelets and a GoFundMe. Um, um, Well, what is the money going to be used for? In my opinion, I'm just curious. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's my deal. I don't understand a GoFundMe, okay? I don't understand it. And the reason that I don't get why is because there's no bodies, so there's no extra cost of a burial or anything like that. Daniel has only himself to support right now. He doesn't just, shouldn't have for any money. Malehya could get a job herself, or I don't know. I know that she gets funding for Meadow, if that's the case. If she still has Meadow, I don't know. But either way, I mean, so I don't see that there's a reason for Malehya or Daniel to have any money at this point. Now, if it came out that the bodies were found, then maybe for funeral expenses, right? But right now, I don't know. I don't understand it. If my daughter-in-law said her partner wouldn't allow me to see the kids, I wouldn't walk away and leave it. I agree. I wouldn't either. What? No more lies. What do you need? Daniel may have taken her phone. You know. Supposedly benches and donations to the searchers, but whose account is the money going into? Oh, guys. Oh, man. Okay, so here's the thing. Have we not learned anything with Sebastian's case? Blip boards, no receipts. Goodness. I no. In my opinion, I will not give to that, and I have given to other causes. But I would not. I would not. Because you don't know where the money's going to, and no, nope. But you guys are your own people, okay? I'm not. You make your own informed decision, okay? Hello, Tony. Well, thank you. I think she would be more afraid of the people her mom would have brought with her. Gotcha. You got ripped off on a GoFundMe. $25. I got charged 38. I don't get it unless because it was UK. Interesting. Oh yeah, this fundraiser stuff. I was skeptical from day one and was skeptical of Belinda because she was so promoted behind it. Also, one of the people in this group is brand new to Facebook. Gotcha. Well, I'm not going to go after Belinda because she's behind it. She may not understand what has happened on in missing children's cases with money stuff. So she may think it's a good thing. I'm not going to judge her for that. Hello, JDR. Good to see you. Scam, scam, wham, bam, lamb. Okay. I'm going to take it easy on Belinda because she's going through the grieving process. If this helps her heart, then I can't say too much. Yeah. Yeah. And she, guys, you know, she may be new to this stuff. So, many of us have watched and seen what goes on in missing children's cases. All you have to do is look at Sebastian's case and you'll see it all, right? So, yeah, I'm not going to judge her for that. You know, yeah, we don't know what the thought behind any of it is. Okay, guys. So let's not go after people for setting it up or whatever. It's just not something that I would not take part in. Most everything gets approved by GoFundMe. That that would not make me want to give to anybody. Honestly, it really wouldn't. The question I have about the use of the kids' pictures on shirts. Was there a media release and permission from the parent? I don't know, but they should because the parents could sue if not. And Tammy, it's okay to agree to disagree. Okay? Let's remember that. I agree. It should legally have parents' consent. Absolutely. I agree. All right. Well, we're 2 hours in. I'm going to go ahead and share my grannyism with you. And I thought this was kind of appropriate. Honest people don't hide their deeds. Emily Bronte. And it's very true. Honest people don't hide their deeds. Never said there wasn't good people out there, Tammy. Never said that. Could the GoFundMe be legit? Yes. Will I give to it? No. The only way I would give to a GoFundMe for the kids is if their bodies were found for funeral expenses. And depending on, where it's going, right? Daniel is not the legal guardian of Lily and Jack, so he really has no say in their investigation. I believe that is why Malehya is the one working with the RCMP through her lawyer. I agree. Yes. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. I remember when, yeah, they were on milk cartons. It's when they were cardboard. I remember that too. So remember, honest people don't hide their deeds, right? Everything they do is out there for people to see. They're not worried about what the public thinks or says about them. So I'm going to leave it with that. Remember to please hit the like button on your way out. And we will see you tomorrow. Please don't forget to say your prayers, actually, for twists and turns, for that issue there, and for Brenda Joe, okay? So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and have a voila. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So have a great night, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.